Audits in enterprise data management enable you to view changes to both data and metadata over time. You can audit transaction history, system events, and changes to permissions, policies, and properties. You access audits from the Audit screen. Transaction History Audit is displayed by default with changes made over the past 7 days. Transactions are recorded when requests are committed, and each action on a node creates a transaction record. In the Transaction History Audit, you can see when, what, where, and who performed each action, among other information. Transaction History Audits support regulatory compliance based on inquiries from auditors, help identify user errors to facilitate retraining or closing security gaps, and help distinguish user errors from system-induced errors. Enterprise data management includes a special application role for users who need to audit transactions. Assign this role to allow internal and external auditors to view transaction history records without necessarily having access to view or change data elsewhere in the application. Service administrators and users with the audit application role can view changes made to all nodes across all applications. Users with data manager or owner permissions can view changes to the data objects that they manage or own. You can filter the transaction history audit by data chain object, view or viewpoint, action, node name, request ID, user, and timeframe. Save your filter selections in any audit type to reuse them. Saved filters are displayed under the audit type. Refresh to rerun your query and update it, or reset to go back to the default view for the past 7 days. Click the Request ID for a record to open the Request Inspector, where you can find more information about each request, such as the approval workflow history and request lineage. For transactions that were generated by another request, for example, transactions in subscription requests, the Source Request column lists the originating request number. Use the search bar to narrow your results further. After filtering your audit records, you can download the results of any type of audit to an Excel file by clicking Download. For transaction history audits, select Transaction History to download the transactions only, select Transaction and Workflow History to download the transactions into one tab of the workbook, and the workflow history, such as submits, approvals, and commits, for all the transactions into a separate tab. The System Events Audit enables you to see records of general events, such as migration tasks and user changes. Each audit record includes a timestamp, the event category and type, the event action and description, the user, if applicable, the application name, and the status. You can filter the System Events Audit by event category and type and timeframe. Use the Permissions Audit to view changes made to permissions over time. You can filter permission changes by data chain object, view, username, and timeframe. In addition to permissions changes, each record shows who made the change, which user or group was affected, and what data chain object or view was changed. Expand a record to view previous permissions assigned to the user on the data chain object or view. View changes to policies over time with the Policies Audit. You can filter the policies you want to view by data chain object, policy type, policy level, and timeframe. In addition to policy changes, each record includes who made the change and when, the policy level and type, the data chain object for the policy, and the type of action taken. Expand a record to display the previous values. For policy groups, an ellipsis is displayed if there are more group member changes than can be displayed on the screen. Click the group to display the complete list of policy group changes. Finally, use the Properties Audit to view changes made to properties over time. You can filter property changes by property name and timeframe. All common property parameters are displayed as columns in the table. You can display sets of data type-specific columns as needed. When you download property audit records, all changes are included in the spreadsheet, including changes that may not be visible on screen. For example, if the complete list of invalid values is too long to display on the screen, the downloaded spreadsheet will contain the full list. To learn more, visit docs.oracle.com.